Tottenham mocked Manchester United last season, but the players and the club, the fans, look rattled after the defeat against Chelsea, with players even publicly snubbing the manager, Thomas Frank. This is a game that I'm really looking forward to put right on Saturday. I'm confident that Manchester United will get the 3 points. I want your thoughts and opinions in that live chat. If you're joining us later on, continue the conversation in the comments below and smash that like button. Again, we're starting this one early because it's a game I'm looking forward to this Saturday.
Yeah, we're starting this early because lots of United fans out there talking about Tottenham rubbed it in and made us look really poor last year.
Yeah.
We was poor, but for Tottenham to beat us 4 times and then to throw that one in at the end, the most disappointing one, the Europa League, we've got to get some kind of revenge here. We've got to stick it up, and fans are really looking forward to it, but also like thinking it's Tottenham. People talk about Spursy and all that. They're going through a bit of a rough patch on and off the pitch at the moment. But I'm telling you now, last year was absolutely terrible for Manchester United. I'll tell you, Spurs rubbed our noses in it.
Yeah, a lot of he's getting involved already with positivity as well. I may add in the live chat, Fred Crenham from our members club says, "Afternoon, guys. I just hope the lads bounce straight back against Spurs to keep the momentum going. Choo-choo."
Well, I look at it, right? We've got the momentum, we've got the consistency. And if you look at Spurs, Thomas Frank, I tell you what, he's got his work cut out. Yeah, they're getting decent results away from home. But at home, their form is totally letting them down. And that crowd is turning on the players, where the players are throwing wobblers. So for me, he's got it all to do, Thomas Frank. And he looks like a broken man already, to be honest with you. They're a poor side. They've no consistency. They finished 17th last year, just below us. But we're totally different, aren't we?
You can tell we're Manchester United fans here, can't you, with what we're saying today. And yeah, any of you that did see that Tottenham versus Chelsea game, you've seen the likes of, I think it was Spence and Ricky van der Ven, sort of snubbing the manager publicly. And in the Champions League press conference, where we should be actually tonight, if we'd have won that Europa League final, he did touch on it, Thomas Frank, saying it wasn't their intention to be disrespectful. They were just frustrated with the performance, the loss and the booing from the Spurs fans. And he did mention that they come back into his office and privately had a chat with him to try and make amends. For me personally, my opinion is, well, if they're doing that publicly, you want him to show the same publicly and actually apologise to Thomas Frank. You know, doing it behind closed doors, for me, doesn't cut it.
I mean, where have we seen this before? Where have we seen player discontent? But this is the difference between Manchester United now and Tottenham Hotspur now. In the summer, United went out and they were ruthless. They put the people who they didn't want in the club out on the sidelines. Tottenham haven't done that. He came in, Thomas Frank. I don't think he knows his best players, his best 11. He's struggling at the moment, whereas we've cleaned the decks. All our players are together. We can see that, yes, we weren't getting the great results at the beginning of the season, but the last month have been sound, and you can see the togetherness. Tottenham aren't there. Thomas Frank, he's scratching his head, and I'm telling you, he doesn't know what to do, because the players, as I see it, aren't believing. This is Thomas Frank, who was actually, his name was put forward as the next Manchester United manager. Lots of United fans were talking about it. Yeah, he's done great at Brentford and all that. He'll do great at Man United. Well, there he is. He's inherited players who don't believe. That's how I see it. So for me, it's got a lot to do, which is good.
Yeah, putting a bit of balance on it, some facts. You know, you're looking at Spurs' home record compared to Manchester United's record. It is actually similar. You know, 1 win at home for Tottenham, 1 win away in the league for Manchester United. And it's a case of, you know, who's going to take the 3 points on Saturday. But do you think it'll be a draw as well? Does that look like the most likely outcome here when you're looking at the two teams?
Well, I look at the two teams, and 3 points is massive. Absolutely massive for both clubs, because you were going into an international break. And for United, last international break, come back and we won. Now, that was the first time we'd won a game for a long time, coming back from an international game. So I just look at this and say 3 points, that'll be great going into the international break, come back, recharge and go at it again right up to Christmas. But for Tottenham, I just look at it, the disconnect between the fans and the players. They were booing. They were booing against Chelsea. So they're not happy. So if they don't get 3 points, I think there'll be a meltdown. That's how big it is for Tottenham. This could decide how Thomas Frank deals with the Tottenham players, the club and everything, and how they go forward. So for me, we get 3 points, and it'll be nice to see Tottenham go into a meltdown.
Thomas the Frank won't be derailing our choo-choo train, I don't think, on Saturday. But a lot of discussions that I see across the channel in the comments over the last 2 to 3 days, in particular after the Forest game, is people are concerned about the goals that we're starting to leak and the number of goals we're leaking. I mean, I think Tottenham have conceded, 8 goals in total this season, where United's is 16.
Well, I look at it this way. Yes, people can go at it with stats about conceding goals, but we're scoring goals. We are scoring goals. And in the old days, you say, as long as we score more than the opposition, that's all what matters.
It does.
That's how it used to be. Now we're scoring the goal. So what we're moaning about, we know that team, right, is a new team. It's a new attitude, and they're going to work together. And it's not the best team. And we know that there's players in there what aren't going to be there next season, and players are going to be brought in. So long as we keep creating chances and putting them in, and scoring the goals and scoring more than the opposition, and so long as we're not getting beat, that's fine by me. I'm not worried about it. I am not worried about it. And when you look at Rúben Amorim during the game, the amount of times he changes the back three, for instance, right, it's baffling to me sometimes. It will happen, but we're scoring goals, and that's all what should... Look, last year we was getting depressed because we were getting beat and all that, and it bad football and all that. But we're winning and we're scoring goals. The fans are happy. So I'm not going to moan about conceding goals while we're scoring goals.
Yeah, you can't have everything right now compared to what we was getting last season. You know, this is a work in progress. Like we keep on saying, you're not going to get everything in a matter of days. And, the improvements that I've seen, it does look like we're more of a goal threat than what we were last season. And I do see signs of improvement, and I expect us to build on that with Tottenham on Saturday. Willie Blackpool says, keep the unbeaten run going. Come on, United. From Doncaster, 70s Red. More of you's getting involved in the chat. Keep it coming so we can discuss your comments. Chris Bacon says, at this moment in time, Amorim is in a much better place than Thomas Frank. Let's go for the jugular and win this. Choo-choo.
Yeah, people are concerned, right, about conceding goals and that, all right, and where we're going to go. But I'll tell you what, Kate, I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it. How long do you think this turnaround? People are expecting it now, okay? And it's clearly not there. These players not up to the standard what the club want, and the club want to go for the league. They want to go in the Champions League. They want to compete for it. So my thing here is I'm thinking like maybe 2 years, right? They're going to invest the money. They've told us that. I don't know how you see it, Kieran, but for me, I think 2 years is enough time to get it the way we want it. And people should calm down, right, about screaming about, oh, we're conceding goals. It's going to happen.
Yeah, well, the thing that I'm positive about is the signings that they actually made in the summer. I think they've made a real difference in the actual squad for me. You're looking at Cunha, his movement. I think that'll be a real threat to Tottenham on Saturday with their high line, his movement across the 2 front 3 places. And you've got Mbeumo there, started off really well in the Manchester United shirt. You've got Sesko up front, who's getting a bit of slander, a bit of criticism at the moment. But I think more games that he gets with the likes of Cunha and Mbeumo, he will start picking up more goals with that ball in the back of the net. A real positive for me, which I didn't think was going to happen, was in bringing in Le Mans. I think that will actually save us 4 or 7 points this season compared to if we had Anana or actual Bayinde. So for me, if they can keep that recruitment going, that sort of profile of player, I mean, in 2 years' time, by rights, this squad should be a strong squad where it compete at the top of the league. I'm not saying they're going to win it, but they should be competing in a couple of years' time for me.
Yeah, well, I look at it. Summer is the main target to bring in players, not this January. But what I've got to say is, like, I look at United as a club and as a fan base, to be honest with you, and I absolutely believe all United fans who have been watching the football, who have been attending the games and that, are right behind Rúben Amorim and the club. And I think they're going to get behind the the owners, really, and I don't mean the Glazers. I mean Sir Jim Ratcliffe, when it comes to the summer, and I think money will be provided. That's what they've said. Yes, there's discontent about certain things Sir Jim Ratcliffe's doing. That's always going to be there. But I think the club have made it clear we are going to compete. Now, there will be ups and downs this year. I don't think there'll be any disappointment, to be honest with you, because I really think United are going to take it to Tottenham, because I do believe Thomas Frank doesn't have a clue at this moment. I think he's got one way to play, and these players aren't used to it. But we've seen that with our side. We've seen with that. But we've got a settled system now, right? Yes, we might change it one or two little things during the game and that, but the players believe, and I don't believe Tottenham players believe in Thomas Frank. So that story will run and run. But for me, United getting the 3 points has to be the main objective on Saturday. And I don't care how we get them, because we're going into a break. So all this fancy football and all that, what we talked about, this player working with this player, I'm not interested this week, okay, because it's a massive game, because they rubbed it in our noses. Well, they rubbed our noses in it last year. 2 league games, so disappointing. And the one here at Old Trafford, they smashed us, Kieran. I mean, you spoke about it to me many times. Yeah. They absolutely smashed us. United weren't even in the game. Really disappointing. Can't have that Saturday.
No, but what I have liked, though, for not every single game, but it looks like, you know, from the first minute, we have a lot of the players, though, the level of aggression, you know, wanting to put the foot in to get a tackle, get that ball back, win the first and second balls. That looks a lot higher and better than what it was last season. And that has won us games, especially against Brighton and Liverpool. And you always know in them first 10, 15 minutes whether United are going to get something out of a big game because of how they start off, especially in that first half.
Yeah, but old habits die hard, Kieran, and people out there pointed out they didn't come out with that aggression against Forest in the second half, and that game really should have been won by half time. They just come out sleepwalking and thought they'd go. They'd forgot Sean Dyche just changed the tactics, the way they played, and they came at United. They'd forgot that Nottingham Forest were fighting for their lives. Were they going to sit there and be passive? Certainly not. So United didn't act as though like straight out on the attack. They just like waited and thought they could just carry on. So old habits die hard. You won't see that against Tottenham.
Yeah, you know, if you're looking at the squad for Manchester United, what we could actually take down there, you know, based on any news right now, I'm not seeing any injury concerns, but you could also have possibly Lisandro Martinez in the squad, or do you think it's a little bit too soon? Do you think they'll bring him back after the international break and put him in the squad against Everton?
I look at it this way. I think it'd be a risk. You look at how long he's been out, serious injury. So what is the rush? Everything's fine. Game on Saturday, 2-week break. I don't see the point of rushing him, to be honest with you. I think it'd be really too much of a risk. I've got a funny feeling, right? I don't know why, even though I've just said what I've said, I've got a funny feeling they might put him on the bench. I do honestly think they might put him on the bench.
Yeah. Do you think they'll change that back three up, though, from the Forest game? I've got a feeling Maguire will come in. I think Maguire will go in the centre with De Ligt on the right-hand side for me.
I think the start of that second half, and for 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes of that second half, Rúben Amorim might have looked at it and he might bring in Maguire. He might bring in Maguire. But I don't want him to bring in Maguire. I want them 3 players to be settled in there, and I think they should be given a chance. Yeah, Lenny Yoro was took off. I think he was too passive at the beginning of the game, so he might change it up. And when it comes to picking a side and thinking, right, what's the 11 going to be? I don't have a clue, because I've never got it right. Yeah,
it's always hard to nail on a starting 11 of what you think and then what Rúben Amorim picks, but I'm just looking at Harry Maguire and Tottenham itself. I remember watching him against Everton. They won it 3-0, and in the attacking box. They look good putting crosses in. They do cause a bit of havoc there, but they're also susceptible in their own box with crosses being put in, which I want to see more of here at Manchester United, especially trying to find Sesko in the box. But I think Harry will help us defending set pieces more so than Yoro. To me, if you're looking back even from the Chelsea game, going into the City game, then at Forest, I'm just not too sure Yoro's there at the moment in challenging and winning them headers in the box. You know, when it's a little bit chaos in there, and I think Harry brings that calm head in there, you know, with his positional sense to actually defend set pieces as well. So for me, I'd bring Maguire in for this one.
I look at how Tottenham sort of set up home and away. And I've only seen the highlights. I've not watched the full Tottenham game. And to me, they seem to set up a little bit too passive. And I think that's why the fans are going at them. And so when they go away, they haven't really got that stress and that strain on them where they can be a little passive, but also be expansive playing attacking football. Because I don't think many people were expecting the results Tottenham have got when they played away from home, especially Everton away from home. I think that was 3-0. So for me, I think they play passive at home. So we have an opportunity to go at them, and I don't see any reason, right, why we should change that side. It's had 4 good games and it's picked up 10 points. So I do believe sticking them together, not making the changes, we should pick up the 3 points because they'll be right up for the fight. And I think some of them players in that side were embarrassed when we played Tottenham last year. And I think when you look at the manager also, when you look at that Europa League final, he set up that team completely wrong. He gave Tottenham an advance warning by playing Chelsea on the Friday night. This is how I'm going to set up. This is how I'm going to play. So I think Rúben Amorim is going to go into that game and say, hey, I want revenge. I made a mistake, and I think he wants to turn that round. And the signs are good as far as I'm concerned. But Rúben Amorim, he's got to really set this up right and turn Tottenham over.
Yeah, I'm sure you read the comments just as much as me after your match reaction against Forest, and a lot of comments in there were a little bit baffled from what I actually read, that he didn't make changes in that centre of the pitch, like with the likes of Kobbie Mainoo, Agata, or even bringing Xerxes on for Sesko. And it's only really feeding that narrative as well that the likes of Xerxes and Mainoo will leave in January. What's your thoughts on that?
What, on them two leaving?
Well, them two leaving, do you think, you know, one of them might even get a start against Tottenham, or do you think them places are cemented with Sesko, Cunha and Mbeumo for this match?
I also believe the only person what may come in is Maguire because of that second half performance. That's the only change I can see. But going forward, Xerxes, Mainoo, now they're not in the team. They're not in the team. There's no point. I don't understand the scream what some people are going, wholesale changes. There's no need for that. We talked about Dalot yesterday. Yes, the criticism's there because he's not playing well, but he's not playing in his natural position. Okay, some people might say even in that position he's not good enough, but he's not playing in his natural position. But I don't see any reason why we should start calling these players, calling them out, oh, he had a poor game and get him out of the team and all that. I don't see the rush. I don't see why there's a rush. I don't understand it.
Well, do you see the quality on the bench is much higher than what you're already seeing in the starting 11 at the moment? I'm not seeing it, even when you are seeing cameo appearances from particularly Mainoo, who I do really like, by the way, and even Agata. I mean, for me, Casemiro, he always has a bright and a good 60 minutes. But after that, you see the energy levels drop compared to the opposition, especially when they're making changes. And it's not as though Agati, when he has come on, has sort of like levelled out the game in terms of bringing any composure to the middle of the pitch as well. So, you know, there's always that in the back of your mind. You know, can United control the last 15, 20 minutes of a game? And at the moment, it doesn't look like we're getting that consistency to do that at the minute.
I think it's very hard, to be honest with you, especially after the poor season last year, for players to come on. Now, you go back to the Brighton game, 3-0 up and that, substitutes come on. I think it's very hard for these players to come on, right, and get into the game.
Fair point.
Because United sometimes, when they start making these substitutes, they go astray with the passes and that. So for me, there's quality on the bench. There's definitely quality on the bench. But there's one player who's not being talked about who's got quality, and who's coming back from an injury. And we've seen him the other week come on, and that's Aidan Heaven. And I really like the player. So maybe he might get a chance on Saturday. I just don't know. But for me, there is quality there. There's quality in Mason Mount. Mason Mount's quality. I've always said he's quality, and people have come round to his quality, but he can't get a place in the team. And that's why I think it'll be the same team, basically.
When you say he can't get a place in the team, I do also...
Starting 11.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but I do actually think Rúben Amorim sets his teams up as well on what the opposition's weaknesses are as well. And if he feels that a front three of Cunha, Mount and Mbeumo is better suited than Cunha, Mbeumo and Sesko, he will change that. I mean, you want to go back to last season, through the summer, his comments on Mason Mount, I've heard quotes like he loves that kid and he's always been impressed by his dedication in training, always working hard and giving everything.
That was before he bought Sesko. That was before he bought Sesko. You don't go out, in my opinion, spend that money on a centre forward. And I have said it many, many times. He's not getting the service. I don't see what he's done wrong. He's just not getting the service. And he's ideal for Tottenham. I think there'll be plenty of space at the back for him to run into, and also our wing-backs. And it's our wing-backs what are letting Sesko down and the team, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I just think Sesko's trying to find that run of form where it's, where you see it proper clicking between the front three, front four. He's not actually got that right now, but you'd expect with the amount of time that they've got on the training ground to improve on that. At some point, we will actually see that kick into gear. I mean, when we bought Sesko in the summer, we discussed it. I never thought he was like a plug in and play, ready to go right now. He's clearly an investment for the future, Sesko, but it's about what can you do in the meantime, this season. And I do actually think Amorim will look to actually bring him in and rotate him with the likes of Cunha, Mount and Mbeumo. So then front three will start and then Sesko will come in as well. But you've got to look at second half of the season. A lot of teams up there are going to be still playing Europa football, Champions League football. They'll have cup competitions as well. He's trying to keep this squad fresh for the second half of the season as well, in my opinion, where we do go on a late charge and try and get as many points as possible.
Well, I look at it different. We've already had a break, an international break. Yeah. We've got another international break coming. All the players should be fresh. So there's no need for Sesko. I think Sesko will do well at Tottenham and then come back from that international break. I think that's when he'll kick on, because the players, as far as I'm concerned, will understand what's needed. The Forest game was clear in my view, right? What's needed in this team for Sesko to work and also for the team to get consistency. And that is getting them wing backs playing consistent, and it's not consistent. That's what's letting this team down at the moment, if there's any criticism. Now, we're doing well considering them players aren't playing to the top quality we expect. So for me, as a club, as a team, we're all together, and I think they're going to kick on. That's how I see it. Rest. There's plenty of rest here, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, a comment in the chat says, I saw Spurs play the other night. Last 10 minutes, they were 1-0 down, and they were playing some of the most spineless football I have ever seen.
Good.
I like that, mate.
Well, see, this is the comments. These are the things I've seen about Tottenham, about the fans. The fans are going mental, and it will not be easy. They are under pressure. They know what's being said by the fans. They've heard the fans. They've had the cob on the players, but the players aren't in sync with the manager. So it just does not bode well for Tottenham on Saturday. And that's why we've gone early today talking about Spurs, because people are already talking about the game on Saturday. And I think there's going to be a meltdown. And I think it's a great chance for United to go at them. And that's why I believe Sesko should be on there. Sesko should be chomping at the bit. And I think all the players are chomping at the bit. We've heard pre-match before from Rúben Amorim. So the players are up for it. The players are ready. There's a difference here with United. And they concede the doubt in their manager, in their players, and in their fans. There is turmoil there. And that's that only bodes well for United.
Yeah, I'm going into games now confident that we can score at least 2 or 3 goals, but it just comes back to you, doesn't it, as well? Things that we've been seeing, especially the last season at the Forest game, where the players need to do better with the game management, particularly when we're seeing it in the second half. So that needs to be improved on against Spurs on the weekend.
Look, there's lots of things to be improved on, and we can pinpoint, that was wrong, and we've got to improve on that. We've got to improve every game. It's not just one game. Every game we play, even when we win, we have to improve. You look at the Liverpool game, okay? My God, yes, they hit the post and that, right? But the post is there to help our goalkeeper. That's what it's there for. It's part of his tools. Now, as far as I'm concerned, there was a lot of improvement what was needed after that game. You look at the Brighton game, 3-0 up. There was massive improvements to be done after that game. Yeah. You look at the Forest game, it's improvement every game. And that's what Rúben's got these players to do. But they're not the top quality. Some are, but some aren't. And there is always going to be room for improvement after every game. And there's always going to be criticism of 1 or 2 players' performances because it won't reach that standard, because they're not that standard. And I go back to what we were talking about before. When will that standard change? I think we'll see that standard change in the summer, where the money will be invested all round the team, not just in one position like it was this summer up front. I think it'll be spread around.
The noises from the actual club is that there's a confidence and a togetherness now amongst this squad. But in your opinion, truthfully, do you sense that though?
I think every United fan, what's been watching him, what has been actually at the games, they sense it, they believe it, because they're all talking. There's a difference. There's a difference when fans come away at Old Trafford, right? They're all talking different and all that. They're all up for it. They can't wait for it. They're all expecting to win. That's the difference. We're expecting to win. We're expecting to put on a performance. But also, fans talk to me. I talk to people. And what it is, they're happy watching Manchester United because they're seeing Manchester United put a shift in. They're working for each other. And if you get beat by a better side, then fair enough, you hold your hands up. But the fans aren't complaining because they're seeing the players put the effort in and play for the shirt. Not players wandering around, walking, expecting someone else to do it. When players put a shift in like this team is, the fans are happy. You can lose games. You can lose games by being the best side. But this fan base and this team are going well together. They know there's a difference.
Well up for it on Saturday. I'm really looking forward to the game. And I do expect United to get the 3 points and start building and gathering some more momentum.
I'm spitting here, son.
Yeah.
I'm spitting.
Do you need a brew?
I can't wait.
Spitting feathers.
I'm spitting feathers because I'm just really wanting this game to come because it is such a massive 3 points for the club.
Yeah, Simply Dread in the chat. Much appreciated, mate. Asking people to smash the like button.
Thank you.
Share the channel as well. I think you mentioned it's 1,700 subscribers off that 100,000 subscriber mark. So, yeah, if you've not already subscribed and you're a regular viewer, please subscribe as well to help support the channel. Smash a like button as well to help today's video. And we'll be back tomorrow with another live chat. So come and join us. Get that notification on and we'll see you all there. Enjoy your day, everyone. Thank you.